Dear brothers and sisters in Islam and humanity, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace, mercy and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on all of you. Welcome to the show, Ramadan, a date with Dr. Zakir. I am your host, Yusuf Chambers, and today we will be discussing the topic, benefits of fasting. Dr. Zakir, once again, I greet you with salams. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The benefits of fasting, Dr. Zakir. In the previous episode, we discussed the objectives of fasting, and within the objectives of fasting, we mentioned the spiritual, religious benefits. Are there any other benefits that you need to tell the audience about?
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam, ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain, amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, rabbi shrah li sadri, wa yassir li amri, wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. As far as benefits, besides religious and spiritual benefits, there are various benefits of fasting. And as you rightly mentioned in the last interview, discussed about religious and spiritual. There are other benefits which can be categorized into three different categories. Physical benefits of fasting, there are psychological benefits of fasting, as well as there are social benefits of fasting.
I see. Let's move on to the first category, the physical benefits. What exactly are the physical benefits of fasting?
Since fasting mainly involves in abstaining from food, drink and sex from dawn up to sunset, here we realize that the stomach is the main organ of the body which has the maximum diseases, maximum ailments. That's why beloved Prophet Muhammad said. It's mentioned in Ibn Majah, volume number 4, hadith number 3349. Our beloved Prophet said that there is nothing better that a son of Adam can fill in the container with more evils than the stomach. It is sufficient for a man to be on his feet with a few morsels. But if he has to eat more, he can divide the stomach into three parts. 1/3 for the food, 1/3 for the drink, and 1/3 for his breath, or 1/3 for the air. So what we realize that the maximum diseases originate in the stomach because it's house for bacteria. And the food that we eat, it enters the stomach. From the stomach, it gets digested, goes into the intestinal tract. Then the food nutrients enter the bloodstream and then goes to almost all the different organs of the body. And we realize that the stomach is working continuously throughout the life. It never gets any rest. When we fast, this stomach, which is a very delicate organ, though it's very delicate, it is a very complicated organ. It's delicate, at the same time it's very important. It keeps on working throughout the day. This organ, while we fast, when no food enters for several hours, it gets rest. And the toxins that are there in the body, they are removed, they are purged out. So fasting is a very good way that physically it's beneficial for the body. It removes all the toxins and it helps in various diseases.
What about the psychological impacts upon the human psyche regarding fasting? I think that's very important.
As far as the psychological dimension is concerned, fasting helps in patience, forbearance and perseverance. It helps a person to increase his self-control, his self-worth. It helps him to increase the self-reflexivity. Also, the self-training and discipline is improved. The main psychological benefit of fasting is the increase in patience and perseverance. And it can make a person who says, I cannot do, it can make him say, I can do. And fasting helps in the conditioning of the heart body, mind and soul. It improves the overall dimension of the human being. And fasting is a sort of training. It even helps in behavioral change. And changing a behavior is very difficult. A person who's used to a particular behavior is very difficult. It is, as we say, that the best type of jihad is jihad fi nafs. That is, striving against your own soul. So to change the habits is one of the things which is most difficult, which fasting can do. And since jihad, that is going in the battlefield, is of utmost importance when required, if you cannot do jihad, if you cannot strive against your own soul, how can you strive against the enemy? So therefore, fasting helps in that dimension. That's the reason fasting was made fard before jihad. Fasting was made fard 15 years after Prophet in the second Hijri. And next year, 1 year later, jihad was made fard. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first wanted to train and make the Muslims fit psychologically with the help of fasting. And then the qital part was made first, so psychologically it's very helpful. And normally, a human being, he eats 3 meals in a day. In a week, about 21 meals. Now that is changed, that behavioral pattern of eating is changed to 2 meals, light meal late in the evening, or early night, and before dawn. So the whole pattern is changed, and this helps in various psychological aspects, the training. And today psychology, they tell us that if you can control your hunger, you can control almost all your desires.
Actually, from the psychological aspect, myself, just to add something there, it was the fasting in the last week and a half of Ramadan which changed it for me. It changed my mind totally.
Alhamdulillah.
And that's what actually led me to taking the Shahada.
Alhamdulillah.
Basically. So, Alhamdulillah. That's why I mentioned the psychological aspect, very important. On to the next question regarding the social impact of fasting. Are there any specific areas that you can shed light on for us today?
As far as the social impact is concerned, in fasting, the person realizes about the other human beings who are poor, who don't have food, who don't have shelter. And it makes us realize that how does it feel when a person is hungry? Many of us who are rich, who have no problem of eating food, when we fast, we realize how does it feel when a person is hungry. So our love and our care for the poor people increases. And furthermore, even we realize the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many times do we really thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the food He has given us, for the water? Imagine the air that we get, that we breathe. How many times do we thank Allah for that? So the food, the water which Allah provides us, the rich people, hardly their mind goes towards it, but while fasting they realize that. It helps them to care for the poor people. It also helps them in being generous with the other human beings, in sharing with other human beings. It also helps in forgiving other people's fault. So fasting helps the society in various ways. And furthermore, our beloved Prophet ﷺ said, it's mentioned in Sahih al-Jami, volume number 1, hadith number 896, the beloved Prophet said that if you have mercy on those on the earth, then those who are in the heaven, they will have mercy on you. That means if you are merciful to the other human beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have mercy on you. So this fasting, it helps us in building the society better. It helps us in being generous, helps us in being loving, in caring with the other human beings. And besides, not only the poor people, it helps us in being good with all the human beings. It helps us in being good with the family, helps us in being good with society. And many a time, we don't realize that we don't give enough time to our family, especially in the Western world. At least in fasting, you're with the family twice. And people make it a point that in fasting, at least they should do the suhoor with the family, and at least break the fast with the family. So at least they are with the family twice in the day. So the bonding in the family increases. The family get together, the parents get more closer to children, especially in the Western world where this is neglected. As far as the society is concerned, it is very helpful in getting the society together. We many a time go to our neighbors during iftar we call our friends, call our neighbors. And the beloved Prophet ﷺ said, it's mentioned in Sahih Muslim, volume number 3, hadith number 5379. The Prophet said, whenever you're invited, do not refuse. So people invite each other during iftar, during the month of Ramadan. So it helps in getting the human beings closer to one another, whether it be the neighbors, whether it be the society at large. And it's also a very good time for self-improvement as well as doing islah and dawah. We meet people in the mosque. Many people who don't go to the mosque in the month of Ramadan, they come to the mosque. We meet them, we can chat with them, we go for tarawih. And this is the time we can do islah. We can do dawah to the non-Muslim. And as you rightly said, Ramadan was the month, the time we changed your heart. And Allah gave you hidayah. This is very important. And that's why the beloved Prophet ﷺ said, mentioned in Sunan Tirmidhi, hadith number 1924, that Allah bestows His mercy on those who themselves show mercy to others. Again, a Prophet says, and he continues in the hadith, that if you show mercy to those on earth, those in the heaven will show mercy to you. So, fasting helps in building up the society and getting people closer to one another.
Jazakallah khair. Dear brothers and sisters, inshallah, we'll meet soon after a short break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It is Ramadan.
Dear brothers and sisters in Islam and humanity, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the show, Ramadan, a date with Dr. Zakir. I'm your host, Yusuf Chambers, and today we are discussing the benefits of fasting. Dr. Zakir, let's move on to the next question. I want to come back to some of the points you were mentioning under the physical changes and benefits of the fast. What are the medical implications of fasting?
There are innumerable medical benefits when a person fasts. I'll just mention a few of them. It organizes the heartbeat and relaxes it. It reduces the pressure on the heart arteries, and it reduces the fat, the cholesterol, as well as the acids. It releases the pressure on the liver. Fasting also decreases the secretion of the digestive glands, which normally causes ulcer. There are less chances of having kidney stones when a person fasts. Fasting is also helpful in non-insulin dependent diabetes. And fasting is also helpful in reducing the weight. Fasting as a whole, it is beneficial for the whole digestive system as well as central nervous system. Fasting helps in removing the toxins from the body. Fasting increases the immunity of the body. Fasting also reverses the aging process. It increases the longevity, lifespan of a human being. Fasting also helps in creation of more of T cells, which are known as killer cells. And fasting as a whole, it rejuvenates and overhauls the complete body. And there are various diseases which are helped when a person fasts. For example, a person who's suffering from certain diseases, and if a person fasts, it's helpful for him. For example, in cardiovascular diseases, if a person is suffering from asthma, from arthritis, from digestive disorders, if he's suffering from lupus, from skin disorders, if he's suffering from non-insulin dependent diabetes, there are various, so list can go on and go on. And it is even helpful in removing a person who's addicted to things which are haram, and even medically they aren't good. For example, smoking, or a person who is an alcoholic, or a person who's a chain smoker. Fasting helps him in breaking this wrong habit and addiction.
Let's move on to the next question. Relates to the science behind the benefits of fasting. There are some people, and I want to know whether they're right or not, who say that fasting actually has some harmful effects on a person, psychological, social, physical, etc. Is that correct?
Several researches have been done by many scientists as far as fasting is concerned, and what effect does it have in various aspects of the human body. And scientists will tell us that when a person takes in food, it increases the metabolism of the body. When the food intake is reduced, or when a person fasts, the body metabolism rate goes down by about 22%. And if you fast continuously for several days or for a month, then this stabilizes at a lower rate. So the body metabolism rate is reduced by fasting. Further, there was research done on various groups of male and female Muslims who had fasted, and it showed that there was a slight reduction in the body weight, but there was an increase in the glucose level. As far as all the other things are concerned, it remained constant, whether it was the testosterone or the cortisol, whether it was sodium, potassium, urea, whether it was cholesterol, whether it was HDL, high density lipoprotein, whether it was LDL, low density lipoprotein, whether it was TG, the triglyceride, all these, the body level, they remained the same. The fasting did not have any effect on them, except it increased the glucose level, and there was a slight reduction in weight. When another research was conducted in Iran, where some men fasted for about 17 hours, for about 30 days in the month of Ramadan, it showed that it had no effect on the male reproductive hormone, on the testosterone. And it had no effect on the HPTA, as well as on the thyroid hormones. There were several researches conducted. There was also research, there was a study made, which was called as increase in oxidation in the month of Ramadan on healthy women, away from maintaining the weight maintenance. And it showed that during fasting, there was no change as far as the physiology of the body was concerned. The weight was same and all the functions were the same. Fasting increases the fat oxidation and decreases the carbohydrate oxidation. And we have to realize that we have to let the physicians of the Western world, they should know that they should note the levels of bilirubin and glucose while fasting. There were further studies conducted that fasting increases the mucosa developed B lymphocyte cell responsiveness, but did not show a change in the B lymphocyte responsiveness of the rheumatoid arthritis and the health volunteers. But in fasting, it increased the longevity of the life, increases the lifespan. There were many researches conducted in animals, it increases lifespan. Further research was conducted on the lactating women. When they fasted, the fasting did not increase or decrease. There was no change in the milk volume, as well as the content of the milk. The glucose level was the same, the fat concentration was the same, the lactose content was the same. There was no change per se as far as the lactating mothers were concerned. There were researches done regarding fasting's effect on menstruating women, as well as the reproductive cycle. And when the research was done, there was no change whatsoever. There wasn't any change in the menstrual cycle in fasting, or there was no negative effect, no positive effect. So it is wrong to say that fasting has an ill effect. There are many benefits which we discussed earlier. But there are certain positive points that fasting has helped in certain diseases. For example, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, it helps. And what we realized that when researches were done, that on animals, when they are sick, they don't prefer having any food. Same thing with the children. When children get sick, they don't prefer having food. It is the family members who force them to have food. And research has shown that when food is taken when a person is sick, it prevents him from getting well early. It hampers the immune system. So when a person fasts when he's seriously ill, it helps him to recover faster. That's the reason now we find that there are many treatments which include fasting for various diseases which are followed by the Western world. Because when a person fasts, his body gets rest and the toxins are